Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Back with a new lecture. We are back with a new lecture, and today's lecture is a completion for the previous lecture. The previous lecture was only for the beginners as a review, and today's lecture is mandatory and compulsory for all. Okay, and here the title of our lecture is Advanced Linking Words, in brackets, conjunctions. Okay. Let us see the importance of using conjunctions. As a part of speech, conjunctions are important in conveying the whole thought of the spoken or written language. The importance of conjunctions lies in the fact that they make any sentence sensible and comprehensible. Conjunctions are one of the most powerful parts of sentences that help us to maintain a strong flow of communication. Our knowledge and understanding of various conjunctions enable us to maintain both ways of communication, verbal as well as written, conveniently, perfectly. In addition, the ability of using conjunction or conjunctions appropriately, correctly, will help us greatly to speak and write in a convenient manner. Okay, these are just glimpses of the importance of conjunctions, which are to join and connect ideas, connect thoughts, connect sentences and phrases all together, to be united and to deliver and flow great and logic information. Okay, let us see here. First, here the importance. And here we have the another point of explanation, and here we have the first slide of some chosen or selected conjunctions. Even though, in spite of, despite, and nevertheless, they can be interchangeable, but there are some differences, particularly in the structures, in the usage of these conjunctions. Okay, so these conjunctions are all used to link, to join two contrasting ideas. Some contrasting ideas, opposite ideas, we want to join them in one compound sentence or in one paragraph or in one essay, or we want to give different ideas, one idea from the part and the other idea from the opposite part. Okay, we have to use such a conjunctions. Or to show that one fact makes the other fact surprising. Or we want to emphasize, to create surprise, to make a surprise of our introducing sentence or statement by the other sentence or statement, using what? Although, or even though, or in spite of, or despite, or nevertheless. We have also, whereas, we have different some other conjunctions in such a type. They can all be used at the beginning or in the middle of the sentence. Despite the rain, see here we have an example. Despite the rain, we enjoyed the festival. There was a rain. It was raining. But although, in spite of the rain, despite the rain, they enjoyed the party. They enjoyed their celebration. Okay, so despite coronavirus lockdown, despite coronavirus lockdown, we studied hard. We can educate online. We can learn online. We can improve our English. We can improve ourselves in different types of skills. Okay, the second example, we enjoyed the festival despite the rain. So the other example is to give you an idea that we can use it in the beginning or in the middle. And for the others, even though in spite of, we'll see later on. Here we have a notice there. See the three last lines. The main difference between although, even though, okay, in spite of and despite is that they are used with different structures. So they have differences only in the structures. but in meaning they are similar to each other. Okay, great. Let us see the second point. Here, although, even though, and though. Particularly the last one, though, it is popular to be used, or it is common to be used in spoken English. Okay? But although and even though, they can be interchangeable. Okay? And they have only slight difference. Even though is slightly stronger or more formal or more emphatic than although. So it is more common than although to be used in written English. We have some examples here. I enjoyed the course, although I would have liked more grammar practice. Okay, we can use instead, even though. Okay, but when we come to the last two examples, or the last example there, even though she spoke very quietly, he understood every word. See, she was speaking fast. Even though he understood each and every word she spoke. Great. As far as she was speaking fast, he understood everything. Okay. Even though you have a lot of lectures online, you learned English perfectly. Okay. Here we have a point also there, highlighted with the red line. Though can be used in the same way as although, so they are interchangeable. But if we can say the last mentioned point there, it can be also or most common in spoken English. Okay, let us take the example and then we'll say. Though I wasn't keen on the film, I thought the music was beautiful. Though can also go at the end of the second phrase. This way of expressing contrasting ideas is most common in spoken English. Okay, so for example, we waited ages for our food. The waiter was really nice though. Okay. Let us see what is next. In spite of, despite, nevertheless. So here, pay attention please. We have highlighted the definitions or the points or the notice with the red lines. Okay, and blue lines or blue color is for examples. Here, after, in spite of, and despite or nevertheless, we use a noun, duran, or a pronoun. Okay, so there, when we have in spite of or despite, we didn't use a complete sentence, noun and verb and complement. We directly, either we use duran or a noun or pronoun. Let us see how come. They never made much money in spite of their success. So directly noun and possessive adjective. In spite of the pain in his leg, see here prepositional phrase. In spite of the pain in his leg. So it is not complete sentence. There is no verb at all. Yeah. Here we can call it a phrase. He completed the marathon. He has a pain in his leg, and even though in spite of his pain, despite of his pain, he completed the marathon, the race. Okay, despite having a headache, I had a great birthday. The train was cancelled in spite of that. So here, that or the fact that when we use this noun or that after of, here we can complete with a complete sentence, subject, verb, and complement. Let us see this example. The train was cancelled in spite of that. Okay, we arrived on time. So we have here that after of. If there is no that, we have to say the train was cancelled in spite of arriving on time. Arriving on time, which is duran, as we said. Here we have a note or notice that it is that, the word that is common to use in spite of and despite with the expression, the fact that, followed by a subject and verb. Okay, subject and verb. No problem in this case. So in spite of the fact that he worked very hard, he didn't pass the exam. So impossibility of his hard work. Despite the fact that he worked very hard, he didn't pass the exam. So here, the fact that or that directly after despite of or in spite of, it is possible and afterwards we can use a complete sentence. Okay. Here, nevertheless, contrast a second point with the first point. Contrasting the first point with the second point. The first part with the second part of the sentence or the statement. It has a similar meaning to despite. Okay. So despite and despite, they have similar meaning to nevertheless. They can be similar to each other. The product, this is an example for nevertheless. The product didn't sell as well this year as last year, but nevertheless it was a success. So after nevertheless we could use a complete sentence, subject verb complement. Okay. The product, when we compare it with despite, the product didn't sell well, but despite that it was a success. We said after despite, if there is that word, we can complete the sentence with its full structure, subject, verb, and complement, if might be. Next. Therefore, hence, so, then, thus. Let us say as there. We use a number of expressions to show that what is said follows logically from what was said before. So as consequences, as a result. Here we have some keywords selected. Therefore, as a result, so, then, consequently, and thus. Okay, let's see next. Hence and thus. First, hence and thus have the same basic meaning and are often interchangeable. However, they have some slight differences. Hence can be used for the reference to future, to refer to future. When we are talking about future thing, something we are planning to do in future, we can use hence, or something might be happen in future. Whereas thus can refer only to the past. Okay. It is often used to indicate a conclusion. Both can be used to indicate a conclusion. Also, therefore, and so as well. Both the sides, both the teams played well, played perfectly. Okay. They did their all efforts, their ultimate efforts. Thus, no winner was declared. So in the past. No winner was declared. Something in the past. Okay. And can be a sentence. And we are telling the listeners or the readers we are writing, we are using thus to tell them the result. Okay. The result of their both hard work, their great efforts. Okay. Both the sides, both the teams play well. Okay. Thus, so the result, no winner was declared. They were equal. Second example. The situation is getting more and more complicated. Okay, hence, we will have to proceed with caution. لذلك, we will have to proceed with caution. So we can use it only for future. Thus for the past and hence for future. And we can observe that structure. So and then, next. There is a difference between then and so. Then is used when one speaker replies to another. So can be used in both the ways. So there is a restriction, a limitation for using then. Only when we want to respond, to answer, to reply to a previous speaker or to a former speaker. But when we continue the same sentences, or when we use the same sentences for the same speaker, we have to use only so. Okay, so the word so can be used in both the ways. Whereas, while, however, then can be used only in reply or a response. Okay, here let us see the examples. The last bus has gone. This is the first speaker uttered. So or then, because so it can be used in both the ways. Then we'll have to walk the other speaker answers or responded. Here we can use then or so. But the second statement is spoken by one single speaker, so it is impossible to use then. So we can use only so. Let us see. The last bus has gone, so we will have to walk. The same speaker uttered the entire sentence. So here it is not allowed to use the term then, but so. Okay. Therefore, next. Therefore is a conjunctive adverb that you can use as a transition word in sentences or paragraphs. Or paragraphs as well, because in the coming lectures we'll say rules of writing paper, rules of writing paragraph, rules of writing essays, rules of writing articles, even rules of writing projects. So we'll use such conjunctions for connecting not sentences but paragraphs and thoughts and ideas. Okay. Therefore is a conjunctive adverb that you can use as a transition word in sentences and paragraph. It shows clues, reasons, and effect between independent clauses. So it can be used to start a paragraph or included as part of standalone sentence. If you would like to use therefore in your writing, there are several things to remember to ensure that you are using it correctly, because sometimes some people may use it incorrectly. So be aware of using such conjunctive adverbs or this linking words. Be aware to use them. You have to understand, you have to know their definitions. We are giving definitions of using these conjunctions, and you have to understand it well and see the examples and try to apply on the basis of the examples given by your teachers. We have an example for therefore. First, the sentence without the conjunctive adverb, without the joining word, and it is in the red line. John studied hard for math exam. He got an A+. When we conjunct it, John studied hard for the math exam, therefore he got an A+. The result of his hard work was an A+. An A+. Okay, simply, they are interchangeable with thus and hence, and we understand just their structures. Okay, let's see what is next. Here we have in other words, in other expressions, in other statements, okay, and other explanations. These conjunctions or conjunctive adverbs, or we can use linking words, are very important, especially in writing. Okay, and even in speaking, they may give a very attractive and a very logical and respectful kind of impression, upon the listeners or readers. So it can be used to introduce a statement that repeats what has been said in a different and usually a simpler or more exact way. For example, I have explained about any political point of view, and I elaborated in it. So I want to give you the idea, but in a simple way, in more simple way, or in a simpler way. Okay, and in a briefer way or a more brave way. So here I have to use in other words. How come? Let us see. She said the movie was a bit predictable. In other words, she didn't like it. Okay, I told you, for example, we taught you that the conjunctions are to connect your sentences, your paragraphs, your essays, your thoughts and ideas. In other words, they have a paramount importance to use in writing and speaking English. Okay, this is the way. Here we have, on the other hand, and sometimes they might use it in the one hand and on the other, but let us take it as it is here on the other hand. It can be used to introduce a statement that contrasts with a previous statement or presents a different point of view. Here, contrast, opposite, not similar. In other words, similar, but we are giving different way. We are giving it with different method, with different words, but the idea is one. Okay, we are expressing the same idea. But on the other hand, we are giving opposite ideas. First, I give an idea, or I give a person, and I give a different idea. Okay, for example, when we talk, for example, in literature, we can say Shakespeare is very famous. On the other hand, William Wordsworth is a known author. For example, both of them are famous, but we can say like this. We give the opposite because we are comparing. For example, human medicine is to be practiced in medical laboratories, whereas pharmacy have to practice, okay, in, for example, pharmacies in medical stores. So here we can use on the other hand. Human medicine can practice their specialization in medical laboratory. Pharmacy students, on the other hand, can practice their specialization in where medical stores, for example. This is an example. To make difference, to give different ideas. Okay, here we have some examples. He is a good guy. His brother, on the other hand, is a very selfish man. So there is no comparison between he and his brother. He is a good man, but his brother is a selfish man. So there is a big difference. Okay. In addition, additionally, furthermore, moreover, plus, and as well. Let us see this. Also here, on the other hand, we can say also, when we want to compare, for example, two students, and we want to introduce them, and one of them from the first level, and the other from second or third level. And we want to introduce them to the dean, for example, and I can say, Ali is a student in the first level, whereas, or on the other hand, Ahmed is a student in the second or third level. So here we are giving opposite ideas. This is from second level and the other one from third level, for example. Okay. Here we have some more ideas. In addition, additionally, furthermore, moreover, plus, and as well. And these transitions or transitional words are similar to also. So instead of using also and repeating it every now and then, over and over again, we can use in addition, additionally, furthermore, moreover, plus, as well as, and so on and so forth. Okay. They are explained in detail below. Let us see what is there explained. In addition and additionally, they are, of course, interchangeable, and they are used to give more information about something. When we want to add information to something, we have to use in addition or additionally. Okay. When you write a formal essay, you should not start a sentence with word and. So we want to and. You start the first word in the beginning or the first line of a paragraph. So it is something not formal. So you can use in addition or additionally, even if it is the second or third paragraph. Don't use and. Use in addition or additionally, even if it is added idea or repeated idea. Okay. So here, I studied journalism in college. In addition, I have part-time job at a newspaper. So he has to work. Actually, I joined the guitar club and the math club in school. Actually, I went on a camping trip with the debate team. So he has to work. In addition to his previous works, he went on a camping trip with the debate team. Okay. Very simple. Furthermore and moreover. We said also they can be or they can alternatively used and we can use them instead of also or add to add information. Okay, both of them are formal and can be interchangeable with in addition and additionally. But let us see here their structure. Smoking is a bad habit because it smells bad and it can damage, destroy, ruin your health or your life. Furthermore, it is very expensive. It is a very expensive habit. So it has a lot of problems with your health and with others' health. In addition to that, or furthermore, or moreover, it costs you a lot of money. Okay, the politician is too old to be our president. Moreover, he is not trustworthy. Students are given too many tasks these days. Moreover, they don't have enough free time. A lot of exams and very short time. Okay, so they are suffering from the different or several types of exams. Exams in English, exams in Arabic, exams in computer science, exams in pharmacy, exams in environmental or ecology, and something like this. Furthermore, or moreover, they have only short time. Short time. Okay, let us see next. Plus and as well. Okay, plus to add idea, but as well, there is a specific structure for it, which in which it can come at the end of the sentence only. It cannot be added or inserted in the middle or at the beginning of the sentence at all under any circumstances. And if we want to add it or insert it in the middle, we have to add as to it. As well as, not as well and we complete. This is impossible, okay? The car has new brakes, an air conditioner, and a new CD player. Plus, it has an alarm. So something greater is there, or something unique. You add something unique to the common description. Okay, here let us see as well. My grandfather fought in 2 wars and traveled around the world. He ran his own business as well. So though he fought in 2 wars and traveled around the world, but he was running his business as well. Okay, so something more he had added to the information described or the information oriented. Here notice, there is a notice or not line. If the sentence is negative, use either instead of as well. Okay, I like math, I like science as well. But when it is in the negative statement, I don't like math, I don't like science either, not as well. Okay, pay attention for this point. These are general ideas for your background. Okay, for sequencing, and we will study them or reteach them, reteach you these ideas later on. Also in teaching writing in general, sequencing ideas, how to sequence your ideas one by one. First, you have to begin with, in the first place, first and foremost. Firstly, secondly, lastly, next, then, finally, eventually, meanwhile, after, and so on and so forth. But in the body paragraphs, you can illustrating, so giving explanation, giving examples, giving instances, giving quotes, giving some wisdom proverbs to support your ideas. Okay. And here we have, for example, for instance, in other words, such as in the case of taking for granted, to show that, this is, that is. In the conclusion, finally, to sum up, to conclude, after all, in a nutshell, in the end, ultimately, in short, in brief, in conclusion, to summarize, and all these for writing and speaking as well, but we'll take them later on in writing requirements. The final slide. Here we have, as usual, we have some proverbs which can refresh your minds and encourage you and motivate you for more education harvesting. Nurture your brain with information. Okay, mind can go with science too. Best of luck. Goodbye.